Okay, let's go to the calendar. Tishri day 1 is September 13th. When Noah takes the covering off the ark, it's in the 601st year of Noah, and it's 1,657 days, or 1,657 years since creation when he does that. That's an important number. Ah, here it is. Covering on ark removed. The first month, the first day of the month, Genesis 8:13. This green calendar is the calendar in the book of Genesis. That's very important. When it says the first month, it's the month of Tishri. And we're going to go through. This is when it gives the events of the flood, it'll name the number of the month, and it gives the day of the month. That's all over here. Don't get that confused with the Exodus calendar. Does that make sense? We got two calendars. They're both identical calendars, but think of it like taking a deck of cards and cutting them in half. They're in the same order, just the first one is now different. When we get to the Exodus, God says to Moses, okay, I want you to take Nishri 10 and make that the first day of the first month. So now Nisan becomes the first month, and Tishri becomes the 7th. On this calendar, Tishri is the first month, and Nisan is the 7th. With me? Okay. But let's stay on this calendar for now. We get to the week of creation, which is right here. This is on page 2. You with me? It's day number 1. See that? Notice what's right across from it. And again, this is on the 364-day calendar. Notice it goes from Sunday, April 27th, to Sunday, May 4th, and it's Iyar 4. These are the days when you put the two calendars side by side, the week of creation lines up exactly with Easter week on the 364-day calendar. Do you think that's a coincidence? Is that mind-boggling? I mean, it can't be a coincidence. Okay, and there's more. For example, you'll notice here, Sunday, day 7, lines up with May 4th, Iyar 17. When you look on here, you see creation day on the 364 calendar is Sunday, May 4th, Iyar 17. That same day is April 7th, and it's Nisan 16. Nisan 16 matches the date in Scripture. What I'm showing you is that when you put the two calendars side by side, remember, Tishri 1 is the first month. When we get to Exodus, Moses is told to switch it so that now Nisan is the first month. So I'm putting this same calendar over here, but I'm just starting it in November in Nisan. And they just happen to line up with those. No, they didn't happen at the same time, but they happen on the same date in different years, obviously. The way you get the number of the day, listen carefully, is you divide the number of years in Scripture from creation. In other words, the number of years from creation, you divide by 5. If I divide, I say when Noah takes the covering off the ark, he takes it off when he's 601, and it's the 1657th year since creation. If you divide 1657 by 5, you will get 331.4. And I'm saying 331, so when it's less than 0.6, you take that number. If it goes to, let's say, 331.6, then it's going to be Tishri 2. The next year, in other words, the year after our Fax is born, and that's the 1658 years, if I divide that by 5, I get 331.6. That means it's day number 332. And you'll see, I think I have it over here, the birth of our Faxid. Now it's Saturday, September 14th. It's Tishri 2 in the year, and it's 2456 on the calendar. So as we go through, we see the calendar. These are the two. This is the Genesis calendar. So when you're in Genesis, see if I can pick an example here. Noah gets on the ark, and 7 days later it starts raining. He gets on the ark on Nisan 10. It starts to rain on the 17th day of the second month. Remember, Nisan at that point is Heshvan is the second month. It starts to rain. It rains for 40 days. And it says the water was on the earth for a total of 150 days. It starts on the 17th day of the second month. It ends on the 17th day of the seventh month. Now some people say, well, that shows a 30-day month. No, it doesn't. If it goes from the 17th to the 17th, you've got 1 month in between. The month of Tevet only has 29 days. So on the 150th day, it lands on Nisan 17. Okay? So it fits the Hebrew calendar. It's not 5 months of 30 days, it's 4 months of 30 days and 1 month of 29 days. That gives you 150 days. If you start on Heshvan 15 in the Genesis calendar, you end on Nisan 17 in the 6th month or the 7th month. Let me show you something real quick about Nisan 17. So we have Nisan 17, a date in Scripture at the time of the ark. Right? He gets on the ark here. I don't have on this. It's in the book, but I don't have on here. I couldn't put every date. I'm saying Heshvan 17 is the 150th day the waters were on the earth. Okay? Just remember that. Nisan 17, a very specific day. When I get over here to the Exodus, we know the firstborn is taken at midnight of the 15th. In other words, Passover is the 14th, but at night, the firstborn is taken on Nisan 15 at midnight. 2 days later, Pharaoh says, get out of Israel, loot it to your heart's content, take everything and get out of here. A decision which he later regretted because all of his workforce left. Not good for your country, especially after 10 plagues. They meet at Succoth, just outside of Egypt, and they gather the evening of Nisan 17. And it says in Scripture, it was 430 years to the very day. I challenge you to find any commentary that explains that word to the very day. Here's what it means. It was 430 years and 86 days. 86 is 1/5 of that. If I go back 430 years and 86 days, I arrive at January 9th, Tevet 20. That's when Jacob arrives in Egypt to join his son Joseph. Is that mind-boggling? Stay with me. I'm starting at the Exodus. I'm taking a date in the Exodus. I'm going backwards from time. I'm going back 430 years to Jacob joins Joseph. I go back another 290 years, so that's 290 years and 58 days. I arrive at the birth of Abraham on an exact day. These are called dates from creation. I'm measuring, think of this like a ruler. These are dates on a ruler going from creation. Now, in between them, I'm going to have exact dates when things happen, and other things I'm going to have to just estimate because it doesn't tell me. But my point is, I've got a railroad track of dates just going over 1 day on the calendar from day 3 of going over 1 day on the calendar for every 5 years of time. I can track it through time. So if I start here and go back this way, I'm going to land on the birth of Abraham. I'm going to land on the birth of Arphaxad, 2 years after the start of the flood. Okay, the year before is Nisan 17. It's not up here because it's not a date from creation, but it's a date in history. It's a date in Scripture. So my point is the number of years from Nisan 17, the first day out of Egypt, to the date of the end of the water on the earth is exactly 1,012 years to the day. This is the DFC date. You know, Noah taking the covering off the ark. That's going to be on Tishri 1. The year before is the start of the flood, right? And how many of you have ever noticed that Methuselah, if you add up all these things, you'll see that Methuselah dies the year of the flood. Interesting coincidence. Now, did the flood kill him? Doesn't say. According to these calculations I have, Methuselah dies 47 days before it starts raining. He dies on the 600th birthday of Noah, according to that DFC dating. It's also the year of his death. And it kind of looks like in Scripture, God tells Noah, okay, the flood's coming soon, get ready. I'm saying it's likely that was the death of Methuselah. His name means the flood's coming. So he says, get on the ark, I'll bring the animals, get ready, I'll close the door, don't worry, I'll take care of it. But get ready to rumble, because in 47 days, the rain's coming. No, 47 days you're getting on the ark, and then 7 days later, it's going to start raining.